Support for today's episode comes from Goli ACV Gummies. They're a great way to incorporate apple cider vinegar into your daily routine. And best of all, they're delicious. Trust me, I was just tired of that bitter ACV shot and made the switch. And as a Boonie Breakdown listener, you can receive 10% off your purchase by using the code Boonie Breakdown. Details on how to purchase can be found in the show notes and on thebooниebreakdown.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to the Boonie Breakdown podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet.
All right, welcome to episode 217 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. We're back this week with a really responsible episode. I feel like this season we skewed really ratchet, like super ratchet. And since this is your source for all things responsible and ratchet, we had to do a little responsible episode before we wrap up this season. So our guest this week is Naseema of Financially Intentional. You might have seen her around social media on the interwebs because she has an amazing financial story. She paid off over $1 million in debt. Fucking incredible. But I really enjoyed this conversation with Naseema because she talks about how she did that, how she was able to pay off $1 million in debt in about 2.5 years. She talks about what it means to be financially intentional. She talks about how that we can use debt as a tool and how we must, as a community, coming off the heels of Juneteenth. I feel like this episode is very timely, but how as a community we can use the knowledge that we have today to build wealth. And so this is a great conversation. I hope you stick around for that. All right. Next up is Pick of the Week. This may be the first time in Boonie Breakdown history. Like, this is literally probably a first that the Pick of the Week is the same Pick of the Week from last week. So if you did not listen to last week's episode, you might want to go back and listen. But in that, I did a Pick of the Week for a brand who had sent me their product, Foria. They sent me the Arisal oil, and it was the Pick of the Week last week. I loved it so much. And in that episode, I said I was going to work to see if I could get them to give us a code so you guys could try it out, experience the brand and the product for yourselves. And they were in my inbox and we got a code. So if you too would like to try out some of the great products that Foria Wellness has, they are not all of their products. I do know that they do have some products that are CBD free. But the one that I tried had CBD, and I feel like that was the key. That was the chef's kiss to it, right? But if you would like to try out those products, you can use the code Boonie. That's Boonie, all capital letters, for 20% off all the items that you want. That code expires at the end of this year. So December 31st, 2022, the code is over. All right. I come through for the Ratcheteers, and I said I was going to try to get a coupon code, and here we are. So for the first time in Boonie Breakdown history, back-to-back Pick of the Week, and now with the coupon code. So check it out.
Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
All right, first things first, you can probably hear last week my allergies were on my head. I'm still feeling a bit congested as I'm recording this, so I just want to say apologies for that. Hopefully it's not too ear cringy for you to listen, but I do want to apologize too. I recorded this episode with Naseema while I was under the weather as well, so you can hear it in my voice. So just throwing that out there. That's what's wrong. Allergies. But feedback from episode 216 with the homie Sheikah. Somebody said, I love it when you two are together. I could not have thought of a better way to explain it. But Boonie and Sheikah, thank you so much for the charge to these heterosexual men to explore their partner's bodies. There is more to pleasure than just our genitalia. And I thank you and Sheikah for doing the Lord's work. So yes, you are quite welcome. And if you did not check out that episode, again, head back and listen to last week's episode with the homie Sheikah. Now, also, I just got to say, life happens. And when life happens, you have to pivot, you have to adjust. And I have to be honest with myself. I try to do a certain amount of episodes per season. I usually try to do 20 to 25 episodes a season, depending on how I'm feeling. Well, no, I usually always do hit that. This season, life happened to me. You know, I experienced a loss of a family member that was dear to me, now sickness, and gearing up for the live shows. I just got to be honest, my focus is not really on the podcast right now. And not to say I'm walking away or anything, but I also feel like with outside opening up and planning live shows and doing this, and even Patreon gang has noticed, I paused Patreon payments processing for a while because I don't like taking people's money and not delivering on what I promised. And I noticed that it's because things have been closed. We've been inside for 2 years. I don't have the stamina, right, for a lot of things. And so losing my grandfather at the end of April, I kind of pushed through. It took like 2 weeks off, but I kind of pushed through and did some episodes. But I think right now it's hard. I'm having a hard time juggling, finishing up, finding the will to finish up the season, but also my excitement for the live shows and planning bomb live shows for everyone to attend and doing Patreon. It's just too much. And so can't do everything. So right now I want to focus on doing really great live shows. So I say all of this long diatribe to say, this season will be wrapping up at the end of June. Season 12 will be back for season 12. We'll be back around Labor Day-ish. Yeah, around Labor Day-ish. But I'm going to take off July and August to focus on live shows, get things going back up, and get in a rhythm with the podcast being back in kind of normal life. And I'll be the first one to admit I don't have pre-COVID stamina for doing all of the things. And that's one of the things I kind of want to hold on to from the pandemic is this ripping and running and stressing myself out and working. I'm not doing it. So since this is my shit, this is the news. So we'll be wrapping up at the end of June. Season 11 and season 12 of the Boonie Breakdown will be launching around Labor Day-ish, somewhere in there. All right. Just wanted to let you guys hear it. But don't fret. There will not be live episodes weekly of the podcast, but there will be live shows. So we have one, Boonie Live in Baltimore on July 23rd. We have Boonie Live in New York on August 13th. And we have Boonie Live in Raleigh, North Carolina on October 8th. All right. So those are the lineup. You can head on over to theboonieBreakdown.com/live to get your tickets. Patreon gang, of course, you will get first crack at those Raleigh tickets. I'm telling y'all, when y'all see the guests for Raleigh, all of my guests are great. The Baltimore guests, New York, I'm excited about meeting Mecca up in New York finally in real life after she's been on the podcast like at least 10 times. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to meet you all there. If you've never been to a Boonie live show, it's a very interactive experience. It works. I play with the audience. There's giveaways. There's a goodie bag. There's libations. And we just have a really, really good and fun time. So again, head on over to theboonieBreakdown.com/live to get your tickets. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Welcome. I appreciate you being here. And you can be sure to follow us on social media at The Boonie Breakdown on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and at Boonie Breakdown on Twitter. When you share this, you can put it in your Insta story, put it in your group chat, put it on your friend's page, send it to your boo or whoever. We appreciate you helping to spread the word. So that is it for me. So let's get ready to break it down. Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and I'm going to put a disclaimer here now. Apologies for my voice. I'm battling through allergy sinuses, but I did not want to reschedule. So in case I forget to put that in the bumper, but I want to welcome our guest, Naseema of Financially Intentional. Welcome to the Boonie Breakdown.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Look, I think you may be the first responsible episode we've done this season.
Girl, after you talk to me for a little while, you might second guess that. So
look, I appreciate that. Look, I feel like I've been ranting about it on previous episodes. You're either extremely wealthy and this inflation is not hitting you. So I'm like, we got to talk about finances before we wrap this season up because, woo, the pockets are hurt right now.
Everybody. It's hitting everybody. Okay. And the only thing, my saving grace is I ain't got to pay for gas. So
it's an electric car.
Here yeah. And I've had it for a long time. So
smart.
I didn't just buy it.
No, it's smart. I was thinking about it because I'm like, I moved last year, so I have a garage. And so I'm like, okay, now I have a garage. Maybe I would consider an electric car because I can plug it in here. But now I'm like, I also don't have a car payment. And so I'm like,
listen, don't
this 10-year-old Camry gonna rock to the wheels.
That, you know what? That Camry and the gas prices together is all good. Like, keep it like that, boo. I would not recommend. And with the inflation, like the prices of cars have went up significantly. Like the base price of my car legit went up almost $50,000. That is not insignificant.
At all.
$50,000. Not, it is $50,000. Like increase. So I'm like, oh, I did good.
No, you did, because that's how I feel about my house, right? Like, I got it before these interest rates went up. So now what houses are selling in my area for at this 5-6% interest rate, I'm like, dang, y'all mortgages gotta be $1,000-$1,200 more than what I'm paying.
Way more, girl. That's a thing too. Me too. My house, I bought it. It's up, I want to say $330,000 from the price that I bought it. Like, stupid, ridiculous right now. And these interest rates is killing it. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here trying to drop my little $200 PMI, and these people paying hella interest. Okay.
Listen, because I literally was like, I'm calling in a couple months, drop the PMI. I know I got equity.
Yeah. The thing with my mortgage, though, and this is just a gem for you guys, I didn't know sometimes they make you wait exactly 2 years, but it depends on who your lender is. So check with your lender, what the rules are. But some of them is just like, if it's 20%, it's 20%. But everyone has their individual rules. Because believe me, girl, I submitted my shit hella early. And they was like, excuse me, ma'am, we have to wait until it's 2 years. And I said, oh, okay, I'll send it back in a couple months. Okay.
Yeah. And if you have an FHA loan down after, I think it's 2014, the PMI never comes off.
Oh, no. And that's MIP. It's a little bit different. But yeah, that shit never comes off. You have to refinance it. And imagine having to refi. Imagine getting into a FHA loan a couple years ago and having to refi now. All bad. All bad.
Just keep paying it.
Just keep paying it. Yeah. Get a roommate or something. Shit.
So listen, I was just saying, this is coming from a place of privilege. Like, I'm one of the Henrys, like a high earner, not rich yet. I've said this on the podcast, but I really be thinking to myself, like, shit, somebody who's making like 40 grand a year, how are you living right now? Like, I really just can't even comprehend how that works.
I don't know. I have no clue. I haven't made $40,000 probably since I was in high school. So I don't understand that concept in itself. Yeah. But there are so many people that live like that. So I don't understand, like, how do you afford to breathe right now? Like, you can't even afford water. Like, what?
It's just too fucking expensive.
Where do you live? Like, where do you live? Who do you live with? Like,
for real. And it's funny because you just said you have not made that. So can you tell people, because we skipped all, we just got right into the conversation.
Yes.
What is your background? I follow you, I'm aware, but what is your background? Because people probably listen like, oh, what's this do? Because I want to get paid.
Listen, I'm just a nurse. At the end of the day, I'm just a nurse. No, I'm a labor and delivery nurse for 13 years. But the truth of the matter is, like, my whole life, I always knew how to get money. Like, I started making money at 5 years old. Like, I was always hustling. I was the one in Office Depot with my dad when he was there buying stuff for his business, like looking up business growth software and things like that. I always babysat. I always did hair. Like, listen, I paid for a car in high school doing hair. So, my background is, I'm from Oakland, California. I went to school initially to be in healthcare administration, hated the politics of administration, went back to school to be a nurse, and became a nurse almost at 30, and have been a nurse, like I said, for 13 years. So I have done a lot of things, but I am not a low income earner, and I haven't been for some time, because even if I don't make a lot of money in my job, I always have a way to make outside money. But because I am living in the San Francisco Bay Area and a nurse in the San Francisco Bay Area, where we make the highest wages, I do make multiple six figures a year just being a nurse.
Yeah, that's amazing. But you also live in the Bay. Damn.
That part. Yeah. It's all relative, right?
Yeah, it's relative. But you do make
relative, yeah.
You make a lot of money, but your cost of living is the highest in the country, literally.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Even though a few other cities is neck and neck with you in recent times, but you have to earn a lot to live there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like you're also, what I appreciate about you, you're very transparent on your social media.
Always. It's the only way I know how to be. Like, that's just how I am. Like,
but I love that.
Yeah, it just, I don't, like, I'm the kind of person I can never tell a lie, because, you got to keep on lying to tell the lie. My memory ain't that good. So I can't. So I'm going to just always keep it real with you, because I know if I try to lie or cover something up, I'm going to fuck up. So,
yeah, I think what is getting to me, because we live in this culture where everybody's an entrepreneur and everybody's earning seven figures and everybody's doing this and buy my course and do this shit, that to me, your level of transparency, I think, is so refreshing and appreciated to me. Like, you shared your W-2s, like, this is how much I earned. This is where the overtime was. And I'm like, oh shit.
This is how much I pay in taxes. Like, this is what I put in my retirement account. Like, it's all right there. But the thing is, people are like, oh my God, don't share that information. They're going to come for you. I'm like, I'm a public employee, right? All somebody has to do is just like Google my name plus, how much you make. Yeah. It's Transparency California is just going to come up. Like, it's okay. But we do need to talk about this, because people need to know what's possible. How many times have I said I make multiple six figures as a nurse, and people are like, what? Nurses don't make more than $50,000. Like, the level of ignorance out here. I'm just like, blood, like, Google me. Like, that's it. Like, and at the end of the day, and it ain't no glamorous shit. Like, I have 2 master's degrees. I make the same amount of money as a JC trained, junior college trained nurse in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm a floor nurse. I deliver babies. I look at vaginas all day. Like, it's not, like, I'm not no specialist. Like, this is just what it is.
Yeah. And that's what I love. Like, you share it. It is what it is. People, and I always read the comments too, because you are somebody's post who people do get very, I won't say polarizing, but people get a little worked up sometimes in your comments. And it's always fascinating to me, because I'm sitting here like, this is what I think we need more of. People are saying, I'm not just teaching you and sharing my experience, but here it is in black and fucking white, right? And I'm not fudging no numbers. This is what it is. Now, I think the most startling thing for me, though, but I get it. I understand context. You just said you live in the Bay Area. You cleared $1 million of debt.
Let's go.
Okay, first, before we even ask how, what does $1 million of debt look like?
You know what? And this is hella funny, right? Everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, why would I trust somebody who had $1 million of debt? I'm like, it's really not that hard. But like, my house was worth like $500 something thousand when I paid it. I mean, it was worth way more, but that's how much I owed on the mortgage when I paid it off. $200,000 in student loans. Listen,
right, there you go, 700 right there.
That's it. The rest was just normal shit. Like, I had to pay the IRS. I took out money on my retirement account. I had an ex-husband pay for his shit, pay for a couple cars. That's it. I mean, like, it's not that hard. The bottom line is, y'all just don't do the math. Math don't math to most people. Like, add your shit up.
Let me tell you, that is a humbling experience, right? I did that at the beginning of the pandemic. People listen to the pod know my responsible fave, my best friend. He was on, I call him the Black Dave Ramsey. It's our joke. But he was on this kick of paying off debt. And so when he was doing it, I'm like, all right, we ain't going nowhere. I started adding them fucking numbers up. Like, oh. And
that's what people don't want to do.
I didn't include my house, and I did not include my student loans. Just everything else. I was like, how? Where is it?
Yeah,
right?
And don't even know where you spend the money, girl. And that's the whole thing. Like, so Also what people don't do is look at what they're spending. And I didn't know, girl, I made six figures for hella long. And girl, do you would think I was out here flossing on them, stunning on them hella hard, like I'm coming through in designer every day? I have basic shit. But I don't know where my money is going. And so that's like the first thing that had to change is like, yo, like, if you don't have control over your money will disappear and it will control you. So that's the first thing. Like, intentionally, like, look at where your money is going. And that's why I named my platform Financially Intentional, because at the end of the day, everything came down to just being intentional about what I was bringing in and what was going out, and making sure that I was in control of it, instead of at the end of the month being like, where the fuck did all my money go? Mm-hmm. That's what most people do.
Where does it go? Yeah, that was such like I said, it was so humbling to see, because like you just paid a bill. All right, I owed Chase this, I owed American Express that, I owed whoever, like when I was writing it down. But when you see it and add up, I'm like, oh shit, I'm paying $800 a month in debts.
Yep.
All right, we got to clear that out. Now I got some free money. Now Mr. Biden put them student loans on pause, right?
Hey, you know what? I'm hella bad about that. Not for y'all, but for me. Because the people ask me, well, how did you pay off your debt? I actually like ultimately paid it. Like, it wasn't like, no secret thing. Like, when I had money, I paid it. That's really how it got paid. And I paid off my student loans, and I did it the wrong way. Listen, I did all the things the wrong way, and I still paid off $1 million in debt in under 3 years. And I fucked up. I paid off my student loans too fast instead of maximizing my retirement account. At the same time, I was so focused on paying off my debt. That cost me just $80,000 in just savings. That growth with compound interest is multiple six figures. Like, so
see, that's the part I think is so hard, because when you hear people start this journey to get, financially well and fit, that it's like debt, the debt gotta go, the debt gotta go. And so it's hard to figure out, well, how am I going to pay debt, but save, but invest, right? And so listening to you just say that, you're saying, I wish I was doing the investing at the same time that I was paying debt.
But it wasn't even like I was going to do anything different. I was just listening to your homeboy, DR, the white one. And and he was like, you can't invest while you pay down debt. So I paused my investments, when instead I should have been maximizing my pre-tax investments, because I am a high income earner in the state of California, which has some of the highest taxes in the world. And so if I would have just, and this is just in my retirement accounts, this ain't like doing no fancy ass trading like on Wall Street, like out there buying stocks and, flipping stuff. It's not about that. If I would have just maximized my pre-tax retirement accounts at work, and including just that little tiny match, that was $80,000 in those years I was paying down debt that I missed out on. So it was not even nothing fancy. It was just, I just could have maximized those things. But if you don't know, you don't know. And a lot of people don't know. So that's what I didn't know. And that's how I share my story. That's why I'm super transparent. That's why I'm super clear. That's why I'm just like, hey, listen, I fucked up. I did these things. Learn from me. Don't do them.
Yeah, because I think that was what I was willing to do. Like, let me pause my retirement contributions. Let me get all my money so that I can pay. And then in the middle of that, I was like, wait a minute. Put that back on, right? Because the market was doing really well, right? At that time. So, yeah, it's really hard, because I don't think everyone says attack the debt. So most people, yourself included, miss out on that. So I think the other thing too is like, I'm watching you now, like you're debt free, right? Still debt free?
No, I still have debt. Okay,
you still have debt. Okay. Are you one of those people that debt is bad, or you're okay with having debt? You just want to clear?
I think that I want to clarify this, because I think it's super important. Actually, I just did a post on this. Debt is not good or bad. Debt is a tool, right? But we as Americans have over leveraged debt in a way that makes it bad, right? Because we are not using it as a tool. We're using it out of necessity when we should be trying to figure out how to take control of our money instead. And so the debt that I have is very low interest. It's very strategic, and it's only used to make me more money. As a rule of thumb, if you have debt now, and I used to say 3%, but because inflation, I would say if you have now debt that is over 5%, you need to attack that aggressively and get that out your life, like piece that out, like buy. And don't use like credit cards, especially with those double interest debts. That needs to be eliminated. But yeah, I still have debt. My debt that I have right now is just like my car payment, which is at a 1.75% interest rate, which will be paid off next year, which I ain't paying no extra on that because it don't make no sense for me to do that. And then maybe like a small like loan that the interest rate is like nothing. So these things like don't make any sense to pay off. So yeah, I do believe in leveraging debt. And let me just tell you something. Debt historically, access to low interest debt has been the game changer that has taken people from blue collar to white collar, taking people out of the lower class to middle class. Like FHA loans, which are not the best loans, but they have been strategically used by other people. Like in the 50s and 60s, Black people were banned from taking out FHA loans, right? But that actually grew the white middle class because they had all this access to these low interest loans. And it put them at a significant advantage over, I mean, like they weren't already at an advantage financially and generationally. I mean, like that's like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that passes through these generations that we didn't have access to. So I don't think that debt is bad. I think that high interest debt is something that you need to get rid of. And I think that debt needs to be a tool only if you're using it to grow your wealth, not as a means to get by. Because if you're using it as a means to get by, you need to look at other ways in which you can grow your income instead of trying to, and I understand it's a Band-Aid a lot of times, but you have to create a plan intentionally to make sure you get out of that situation and don't go back into it.
Yeah, because then too, it's like, yeah, you don't want to, keep splurging on your credit cards and letting it build up, but you could get laid off, right? And you got to use the credit cards to float till you get by if you don't have savings. So.
Right. But that's the thing, like in these times when you have money, you have to build layers, right? You should have an emergency fund. Even if you don't believe in having a high emergency fund, you should be building your credit so you can then get access to low interest loans, like maybe a personal loan through your bank where you can negotiate a really, really low rate. And yes, you can negotiate your interest rates with your bank. And I did that with my car, but I work with credit unions. And so that's why I love credit unions, because mine's is literally across the street. I could go in there and be like, what y'all gonna give me for this? Like when I owed the IRS $30,000, you think I was about to mess with the IRS and set up a payment plan with them? No, you think I had $30,000 in my bank when I was aggressively paying down my debt? No, I did not. I walked into my credit union and I said, I owe the IRS $30,000, which is the lowest interest way that I can borrow this money to pay them, get them off my back. I'm not fucking with them. And then I have access to this money. And so they were just like, oh yeah, your car's paid off. Just refinance. This is a long time ago. Refinance your car through us. We'll give you like this super low interest rate. And so I just paid the bank and, automatically I got a even lower interest rate because my direct deposit is there. Like, it's just ways like strategically that you need to do it. But having access to low interest debt is okay for emergencies. But also, like, once you start investing, like your IRA becomes another, your Roth IRA becomes like another level of like emergency fund, because all your Roth IRA contributions that you put in, you can pull out tax and interest free, just the contributions, not the growth. And so there's layers and layers and layers. So once you start to build financial security, those emergencies actually are fewer and far between because you actually have a plan, but then you've also built layers so that you don't, drive yourself into a hole, even if you do face like a job loss that a lot of us have faced in the last couple of years.
Yeah. That's a good tip, especially with this market right now is just so volatile. I think we're seeing more and more, companies using this as an excuse to lay off workforce if you're in the private sector. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I wanted to do this episode about finances. I mean, for some, it may be like, I'm already too late. But, for some of us, if you can make the steps to prepare and wait it out, because I just don't see how where we are is sustained. Like at some point, this shit has to come crashing down, right? But
that's the whole thing. Like, what people don't understand is all this shit is cyclical, right? We're always going to be in a growth phase or in a recession. It's cyclical. Like that's how the market works, the total market outside of the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're always going to have ups and downs. So like when you're in your ups, you should be preparing for your downs. And it's not hard. It doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes intentionality.
Yeah, I like that you said it doesn't take a lot of money.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I do feel like, especially with finances, it's a little more scary in the what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so I always joked that growing up, we didn't talk about money like this, right? And especially, and I'm gonna make a generalization here, most Black families definitely did not, right? And so I joked because like my grandmother was the matriarch. So you would go to Granny. We would go to Granny, I need. And Granny would always say, the Lord gonna make a way. And so I used to joke with my grandmother when I got older, the Lord must be a banker. Cause that's all she would say. Like, Granny, I need this for school. She was like, the Lord gonna make a way. And the next thing I know, I had it. I have no idea what my grandmother was doing. Did she have accounts? Was she borrowed? I have no idea what she did, but the Lord made the way, right? And so that was my financial education. The Lord just made ways.
I wasn't taught about it. My dad was just like, my daddy was like one of those make it enough kind of daddies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, $5 for a week. Okay. You need to eat, make it enough. Okay. Like make that thing stretch, make it do what it do, get out there, make some money. Like what you gonna do? Like, it was like that. And I had no financial literacy. We didn't talk about money like that. Money was kind of like one of those things you just don't talk about because we ain't really got it like that. Like you just figure it out. You figure it out. And so I figured it out. And so, like I said, I knew how to make money because I had to. I was raised by a single dad, like he was always working. So I was like, he ain't tripping off of me getting my hair braided. Like if I want to get my hair braided, I got to learn how to do it or I got to pay somebody to do it. So I learned how to do my own hair, learned how to do my sister's hair and started charging everybody else to do it, And so, I just wasn't taught. I didn't. And the thing is, the saving grace is, I'm sure your audience probably skews a little bit younger than I am. I'm in my 40s. I didn't learn this shit until I was in my mid 30s. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I still did it, and I still like went from 7 figures in debt to almost a 7-figure net worth. And it would be 7 figures if the market wasn't so crazy. And my kids will be millionaires in their 20s. So for people that think that it's too late to get started or think because their parents didn't teach them or think because they made financial mistakes or think because, whatever excuse they can put out there, they can't do it or because they don't make a certain amount of money, you can do it. Like it's totally possible. Like I have done all this in part of transparency. I share how I've been in fucked up relationships, how I've had to start over, how people have come after me for my money, like how I would probably never get married again because how the legal system works. Like if you got money, they're coming for you, and it's just, it's some shit. And despite it all, my kids will be millionaires in their 20s. I will be a millionaire very soon. And it's not, and to me, it's not about like the number. It's not about the wealth. It's about the access. It's about the shit I don't have to do. It's about me being able to be myself and not having to code switch and try to satisfy everybody else. I can do what the fuck I want to do. If I want to bounce about this country, I can bounce about this country. If I want to stay at my job, I'll stay there and do whatever I want to do.
I love it.
And I don't really care. I can be fully in myself. I can advocate for my patients. I can advocate for my staff. I can go to my school and I know that I can advocate for my kids. Like That's what wealth is to me.
I love it. And I think too, what you just said, somebody's listening who married with children, like, now how the hell your kids gonna be millionaires in their 20s? And I'm telling you, you have to follow her on Instagram. She shared, the transparency is next level, but I don't have children. I'm not married. I don't have children. But you talk about their 529 accounts and all this stuff you do already for them to have access to this money, whether they want to go to school or they withdraw it and do something else.
Yeah. So yeah, my kids have, I set up 529 accounts for them so that they'll each have $100,000 of access to college funds. And that's it. That's what I'm capping them out at. That's whatever. So that's done. They have brokerage accounts, which I contribute $100 a month each to, which they pick their own stocks in there. That's the only time I
That's
do
cute.
individual stocks. I let them pick it so they understand the value of ownership. I'm trying to train my kids to be owners and not consumers. So they know, like my 3-year-old knows an Apple computer. She knows she owns that. She just looked, because I let her pick her stocks this month. She was like, oh yeah, I'll buy Apple. And when we're watching a movie, she's like, oh yeah, that's Apple. So she knows she owns that as a 3-year-old. So it's just not about like putting away money for them. It's about them understanding financial literacy. They hear me talk about money all the time too, like understanding like that concept. And it does not take a lot to put away now to make your kids millionaires. And I think, like I said, we underestimate like what the small little things that we can do every day. It only takes like you can put literally like $2,000, like when your kid is born, you say, everybody give me such and such amount of money so I can have $2,000. Like, you put that in an investment account, don't add nothing to it. And by the time they're retired, they'll have $1 million without even touching it. So imagine like you doing a couple $100 here instead of, I hate when people buy stuff for my kids. Okay. You look around my house, the stuff, all that. My kids don't need nothing. Don't buy them no toys. Don't buy them no clothes. I don't care if it's $5, $20, put it into their, I use Stockpile for them because it's easy for them to look at the stocks. I literally send a code. You pick either which stock or you let them pick the stock. It goes directly into their account and that grows. Like, that's what I want you to invest in. Like, they have that. I contribute for them. They'll have a retirement account because they work for me. When kids have an earned income, they can have retirement accounts started in their youth. So these are the ways that I grow wealth for my kids. And if they want to add anything to that, they'll be a millionaire exponentially faster. Like, anytime I have savings, I put like, if I get a contract with something or a big amount of money, I put that into that account. Like, it just grows and grows and grows. And because I leave it alone. I invest it simple. It's just there. It ain't hard, but we weren't taught this. We were taught that money has to be hard, that wealthy looks like greed, and we shouldn't strive to be wealthy. We're taught that talking about money is flossing and stunting, and you doing too much, and you showing off, so you don't do it. That does not serve you. That only serves people that need this working class to keep capitalism up.
Tell 'em.
Like that. Like, that's why I talk about money. I'm not trying to stun on y'all. I don't care. Look at me. I'm hella basic. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not really trying to stun on you. I'm just trying to show you what's possible, because it ain't hard. But we are selectively kept from a lot of information very intentionally. And I'm telling you, the information is here. It's like, I was listening to this live with Tiffany Aliche just a couple of minutes ago before we started. And she was talking she was with BET, and they were talking about Juneteenth. Like, y'all know we free, right? We have all the tools. Okay. Yes, there is still a lot of discrimination in things. There is still a lot of things that hold us back financially. But there is nothing that is stopping you right now from growing your wealth, except this right here. Your mind. Except your mind. We let too much hold us back. But, you know.
Go ahead, preach your little sermon.
I'm just saying, we free, y'all. We free. Okay, let's celebrate that on Juneteenth. Okay, that we have access and the tools to build wealth like no other generation. who was systemically blocked from these things. Banks would not serve you. You could not get loans. Systemically, you could not. Our parents had to make a way. Our grandparents had to make a way. On the deed of my grandfather's house right now, it says no Blacks or Orientals. Like, this is not the times that we're living in. We free, y'all. Take advantage of those things. And every day you're not taking advantage of those things, you are only robbing yourself and your future generations. So you guys, stop. The information, I give up so much free game. And then if I say, you know what, also, if you want to like streamline this and not make all the mistakes and just go ahead and just buy my course, that's $50 fucking at the max. Like, people are like, you're a fucking scammer. For real?
Now, I've seen a lot of scammers. I would not put you in that category.
For real? Do you think it's a scam? All right, boo. That's hella funny. But yeah, I just like.
That's hilarious, actually.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, look, we are at the part. That was the perfect summation where we're going to do the breakdown. I'm going to say one word. You say the first thing that comes to mind, and we're going to go. Black women.
Excellence.
Money.
Power.
Debt.
Tool.
Wealth gap.
Real.
Savings.
Important.
Marriage.
Optional.
And the last one, hustle culture.
I like to chill. Naps.
Rest is important too.
Yes.
Well, Naseema, if you could tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, on the internet, anything you want to plug, go right now.
So cool. I am on Instagram the most. Find me at financiallyintentional.com. I do have a self-guided course you could take that breaks down everything. I have a book called Smart Money. If you want to get that, it's available on Amazon. But yeah, I mean, like, I just tell you, like, I'm not for everybody. Follow me on Instagram. See if you like me. I give out a lot of free game. Implement a couple things. If you really want to streamline building your wealth, buy the course, but take action. Okay. But I'm here. I'm always accessible. I do answer my DMs, but I'm not going to do a coaching session in the DMs. So
that's fair enough. Look. Well, Naseema, thank you so much for doing the podcast. I hope people are inspired to see that it's not hard. You just got to find the resources and take action.
Exactly. Take action. Just do something today. Just figure it out. Even if you just write down how much you owe, take action.
Told you, that's humbling. It'll make you do something. That'll make you do something for real.
Yes. But thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast. I love chatting with you.
Thank you so much. All right. That is it for this week's episode. I want to thank our guest, Naseema of Financially Intentional. I told you guys, she's a woman who knows what the fuck she's doing. All right. So be sure to support her with her book. Be sure to follow her on social media. All of that is linked in the show notes and on thebooniebreakdown.com. Also, be sure to support our sponsor, Goalie. You can use the code Boonie Breakdown to save an additional 10% on your future order. That coupon code can be doubled with others. All right. Don't forget that. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or any apps that you listen to your favorites on. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. You might just hear your review on the next episode. Follow us on all social media. Share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't make these pretty images for nothing, okay? Have a dope ass week. Stay healthy, safe, and sane. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Until next time.